Although the season is still months away, seeing the official 2022 schedule of Packers games somehow just makes it feel a little bit closer. We're going to talk all about the schedule with your help, all coming up on the Packers Fan Podcast.
I'm Scott Clark from The Gaming Outsider, and I'm so happy to be back here with my good friend talking Packers football for the second time in the off-season. It's like Christmas in July, but in May.
Ho, 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 and go Pack go to you and yours. Podcasting since 2005, I'm Wayne Henderson from MediaVoiceovers.com, and believe me, if I had a TARDIS, I wouldn't be afraid to use it. I would be in London tomorrow for the October 9th game at Tottenham. This is episode 251 of your Packers Fan Podcast, and this time around, the 2022 game schedule is real. And to paraphrase a Seinfeld episode, it's spectacular. So let's get hopeful and chat a bit about it.
And we'll be sharing more of your great listener feedback. You guys really had some excellent thoughts about that schedule, so stay tuned for that. And speaking of, let's go ahead and kick things off with the 2022 game schedule. It is officially out. It all starts on Sunday, September 11th with Packers at Vikings at 3:25 p.m. Central Standard Time. How are you feeling about that opening game for Green Bay?
We might as well just get it out of the way. I'd rather we start the season, at home. But, I wish every game could be at home. But I guess it's better than, going down to Florida when we're expecting to go indoors to New Orleans like last year. At least snow is not going to yet cave in the roof of the Vikings stadium. So I think we're safe to plan on playing indoors. What do you think about this kind of way to start the regular season?
I mean, it's always fun to do an interdivisional game in the opening game for sure. Part of me kind of wishes it was the Bears, just because it's that's the big rivalry. But I'm happy that it's at least in the division. Would like it to be at Green Bay, but I'll take it at Minnesota. And it would take a lot of snow to cave in that new stadium they've got. I've actually been to that stadium. There's like 3 different layers of plexiglass on the roof of that thing. I don't think even 3 feet of snow is gonna smash that thing. It's pretty tough, but it'd be a fun game to go to, man. Just saying.
Maybe you'll make some plans. Who knows?
Maybe we'll have to see. What Sunday, September. Ooh, it'd be a weekend trip, but it's not that bad for me. I can get up there in about 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, easy.
It'd be a flight for you.
And besides, if the Packers win this game, potentially we could be all alone in first place in the NFC North from week 1 onward.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Anything else jump out at you at first glance when you're skimming through the schedule?
I mean, the ones that make me a little nervous are going to be, the Rams on week 15. Thankfully, that's going to be our first game out of the bye, which I say thankfully, but we tend to have a little rough time coming out of the bye. So maybe it's not a good thing that we're playing the Rams, right out of that break. But I do like that the break is so much later in the season. That seems like a much better place for that when we'll need that extra rest, for the potential of playoff seeding and so forth. So I like that that's later instead of earlier. How about you?
Yeah, for me, that week 14 bye week really jumps out at me. It's a little bit later than I'd like, but it's definitely better than having the bye week super early in the season. And besides, after the bye, 3 of the 4 remaining regular games are all at Lambeau Field. Of course, we'll likely continue playing at home when the playoffs start. So we only really have 1 road game after our bye, period, till the Super Bowl.
And speaking of away games, there's a stretch of 3 away games there between the weeks 7, 8, and 9, where we're not going to be at home for quite a while. That's a long break to not be at Lambeau.
That one is going to be a bit tricky. And aside from those 3 road games in a row, for the rest of the schedule, I kind of like the pacing, Scott. Not too many potentially hard games very close together. We've got the Bucs at the beginning of the season. Then we're in Buffalo kind of near the middle of the season. And then, like you mentioned earlier, hosting the Rams near the end of the regular season. Just imagine if those 3 were bunched up together.
And you just made my blood curdle a little bit when you said the Bucs, because I thought that this was going to be the season that we didn't have to hear Tom Brady's name, but sure enough, he's going to be there, and we're going to be facing off against him once again. And then even after he does actually retire, he's going to be a commentator now. So,
I guess he's going to be on Fox, so he'll be calling a lot of Packers games.
Yeah, we'll be we'll be hearing the name Tom Brady for many, many years. Why don't they just rename the Madden video game series and just call it Brady?
Great. That's just what we need. I mean, who ever heard of a quarterback retiring and then unretiring? But what kind of... Oh, wait a minute.
And going to a different team. At least it wasn't, within the division.
But still, they gave Favre so much flack for doing that. But Tom Brady, no, it's his competitive spirit. It's it's all the same. They're both retiring, unretiring. They can't make up their mind. Whatever.
It's not his competitive spirit. He got home and realized he had to take out the trash and mow the lawn and everything. And he's like, I don't want to do this. I want to go back to being a superstar again.
There's probably a bit of that. And of course, Sunday, October 9th, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Giants at Packers at Tottenham Stadium, London, baby. I know that Dan Dyler's already booked his trip overseas, and although I can't go, it's really exciting for me that Dan is already looking into the possibilities of meeting up with our international friends, Dictus, Colm, and Brett, and maybe some others as well. There may be the biggest Packers Fan Podcast listener meetup, and we're not able to be there because it's overseas, but I love it.
You're making me want to try to talk my wife into doing that. That would be quite a trip. I've never been overseas. I've been in Mexico and Canada. Never been outside of the North American continent. So got some thinking to do, man. Definitely have some thinking to do.
All right. Well, you got a little bit of time. Not much time. But
yeah.
And I like the additional game. Even though this is the official schedule, it's pretty much locked in. There was a leak by Mike Clay, NFL, on Twitter.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Which I think is the biggest leak of them all. Mike said that inside sources let him know that the Packers will be playing the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl this season. How's that for a mind blower?
Oh boy, that's quite the call. How much? I would love to see it happen for sure, and that will definitely make October 30th a lot more interesting if that's a preview for the Super Bowl, because we'll be at Buffalo hosting the Bills, or not hosting the Bills, but playing against them.
It's interesting, this game at Tampa Bay week 3, because you talked about the Bears week 2 at home. That'll be great. It's going to be hot and humid down there in Tampa Bay, but at least it's not week 1, and it's not going to be last minute. We know what we're getting in for. And then back home, Sunday, October 2nd, the Patriots are coming to town for the gold package game. No Tom Brady with the Patriots, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy victory. Then, of course, it's go all the way over to London, play the Giants, and then come home to Lambeau and host the Jets.
I think it's interesting that they don't put the bye week around the London game.
Yes.
You think that they want to do that and give them a little bit of a break, because that's a lot more travel. I don't know. I mean, I'd rather take it at the end of the season the way it is than at the beginning of the season like that. But I mean, at least it's not going like a short 4-day week or something in between that, doing a Thursday game or something like that.
Right.
But
on the road on the West Coast.
Yeah. That'd be rough.
Do you think it's possible that the Jets game at Lambeau is kind of slated there because it's not really a bye week, but it hopefully won't be a really hard game?
Hopefully it won't be a really hard game. We'll have to see. I haven't really been paying attention to the Jets off season. I don't know how well they did, but
we'll have to wait and see.
Normally I see that logo and I just go, all right, that's a W.
Okay. And then the 3-game road stretch that you talked about. Sunday, October 23rd at the Washington, now known as the Commanders, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best they could come up with after 2.5 years. Commanders.
At this point, I almost was, Washington football team was kind of growing on me a little bit.
But we'll have to give that a few years. Then, of course, what could be a super exciting and potentially pivotal game, Sunday, October 30th at Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a hell of a game. And then the one you mentioned at Detroit Lions, you could head on up for that. Then a couple of home games in a row. Sunday, November 13th, the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy's coming home. And Scott is
forgot about
speechless.
that.
Scott is speechless.
I miss McCarthy though. Like
I know.
It kind of hurts my soul to see him with that star on his hat. But
I hear you. He did
it'll be good.
help us get a Super Bowl. It's been a long time, but we did get a Super Bowl with him. So there's that. Then the Tennessee Titans come up to Lambeau. They're no slouch. And then a couple more road games. Sunday, November 27th. Sunday Night Football. Again, we're in primetime 5 times, Scott. This is going to be nice.
Holy cow.
Not to mention any flex games that may happen in December, January. Going to Philadelphia Eagles and then at Chicago Bears, where, last season in Chicago, the Aaron Rodgers, I Still Own You, one of my highlights of all of last season because I couldn't believe it happened. And although it borders on bad sportsmanship since it's against the Bears, all bets are off. I love it. After the bye week, the reigning champs, the LA Rams, are coming up to the frozen tundra. So that'll be nice. And like you said, there's no guarantees just because we're rested and at home. But I do like our chances in early mid-December. And on Christmas Day, Merry Christmas for the second year in a row. This time the Packers are down in Miami. I bet some Packers fans are going to be wanting to get out of the cold, celebrate Christmas down there in Florida.
Probably. I love it when the Packers play on Christmas Day too, because my family is a football watching family, so we'll have any game on, regardless of if it's the Packers or not. But the fact that the Packers will be playing just makes the holidays a little bit more sweeter for me.
Absolutely, and it's a 12 noon Central game, and it's a triple header that day, so we get the first game of the triple header for good old Christmas. Then New Year's Day, back at home. Starting off the new year with the Minnesota Vikings coming to Lambeau Field.
Nice.
I can't wait to watch that beat down. And like they have almost every year, it seems like we're wrapping up with the Lions. Lambeau Field.
Yeah, I feel like in the past we were always wrapping up with the Bears, either at Lambeau or at Soldier Field, and now we're kind of bookending with the Lions instead. I'll take it. I feel like those last 2 games of the season it'll be nice to have those 2 at the end.
Yes. Wrap up the division long before then. And I like how this last game, the Lions, they're not really sure when it's going to be. It's either January 7th or the 8th. It's to be determined. Whether or not the Lions show up, it's to be determined. Who knows? Anyways, anything else about the particular schedule at this very early stage, Scott?
I think we covered most of it. I'm interested in the Cowboys game because, again, seeing McCarthy at home will be interesting. But I think it's a solid schedule. There's not a ton that I'm super scared of, but there's some potential losses in here. But I still think we'll come away with a winning record by the end of the season. And speaking of, Wayne, we'll go ahead. I know it's way too early to be making these predictions, but if you had to, predict our record at the end of the season after these games, what are you going to guess? The 17 games that we're going to be playing, how many are we going to win? How many are we going to lose? And you can't say 17-0.
Do you have a good reason why I cannot say 17-0? I mean, look at this thing. We could potentially win every single one of these games.
I mean, yes, we could potentially lose every one of these games too, Wayne, but I'm not going to say 0-17.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott at PackersFanPodcast.com.
So do we make a, midsummer wager fun that we just make right now, and then at the end of the season, we, whoever gets the closest to the record? Yeah.
Because I've been pretty close many years where I've been predicting, 16-0. Now that it's a 17-game season, things are really different. But, okay, since you said I cannot say 17-0, I think we learned something last year. Starting on the road with, Aaron Rodgers and many of the veterans not doing anything in preseason and hardly anything in camp. I think that week 1 at Minnesota, starting on the road, we're going to be sloppy. We're going to be choppy. I don't think we're going to get blown out like we did last year with that surprise game against the Saints. But if there's a game that we're going to lose, I think it's the first one just because it's on the road and it's basically a preseason game as far as how well we're going to be playing. How about you?
Interesting. So you're saying we're going to lose the first game against the Vikings in Minnesota.
No, I'm
was
saying
not expecting that.
I'm saying if there was a game that we're going to lose, it could be that one right there because we're not going to be.
So not Tampa Bay, not Los
No,
Angeles.
no, come on.
Not Buffalo.
Nope. That one's going to be a thriller. That one could go into overtime. I mean, preview of the Super Bowl possibly. I mean, we saw that leak that they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl, but this will be the warm-up game, and it's going to be cold in Buffalo.
So what you're saying is 16-1, and the only loss is going to be at Minnesota.
We could go with that. Sure, why not?
All right. Well, I'm going to be a little more realistic. I'm going to say 12-5.
5 losses? Which ones? Oh my gosh.
I mean, Tampa Bay. I feel like we'll lose Tampa Bay. I feel like we'll lose Buffalo and Los Angeles. Historically, coming out of the bye, we do not do well out of the bye. We got this overconfidence thing, even though we'll be playing against the reigning Super Bowl champs. There'll just be a thing like, hey, we're rested. We're good. It seems to be our MO. I think I was going to say the Titans, but I don't think we'll lose that game. I think we'll be good on that game. And I just imagine we're due for a loss against someone in the division. I don't think we'll win all of those games this year as much as I'd like to. And then probably one that I'm missing that I'm just not expecting.
Well, there's
not New York.
Not New York? Which Giants or Jets or both? Neither?
Both. I mean, especially not the Jets, but I don't think we'll have a problem with the Giants either. Although it's traveling, maybe as long as we travel and we just don't get to London by going west and going around that way, because when we travel west, it's a problem. So as long as we travel east to England and take the short way, we'll be fine.
Okay. Let's not fly from Wisconsin, travel all the way to Japan, and continue on around the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's make sure they don't do that. Now, how about that last game of the year against the Lions? Because we're going to wrap up the division pretty early. I mean, we may be resting all our starters. And so
we're going to be, we'll be, what is it, 15-1 by that point, according to you. So there won't be a need to win that game. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. But, we're just going to win it because of momentum. But, it's something to think about.
I love your positivity, Wayne.
Hey, you told me I can't pick 17-0. I'm giving you something.
So
there.
You did 16-1. I love it.
Remember,
I love it.
Coach Matt Lafleur is still at the helm, who has won at least 13 games every single year, and it'll probably be even better. Let's hope so. Let's hear what the listeners of the Packers Fan Podcast thought about the schedule as well. We're not going to have another episode unless something big happens until about the time of the Hall of Fame, when Leroy Butler's going into the Hall of Fame, and Dan Dyler is making plans to go to that as well and possibly be a special correspondent. Anyone else that's going, get in touch with us. We'd love to hear a lot of different views. This could be really, really cool. But for now, let's talk about the schedule with listener Megan.
We're back! It's football season, baby! Let's go! I'm so pumped. This is Megan. The schedule's out. Okay. It's very hard to narrow it down. Who wants to go with me? Someone, please. I want to go week 2, 5, 10, London, week 5. I think it is in reviews, yeah. And week 15 and all of the other games in between. I think people know that I live in Minnesota. Unfortunately, Vikings territory, but they're always just bitter anyways, so sore losers, So, home opener, or whatever, season opener, not our home opener, is here, but I cannot go. I refuse to go and step foot in that stadium. I'm sorry. Although, Za'Darius is here too, which is weird and interesting. I'm almost every time I leave, I'm maybe I'll run into him, because I live pretty central. And I don't know what I would do. I'd probably be like, Z, I don't know, we miss you, come back. Don't hurt Aaron. Anyways, so yeah, I'm pumped. We do have a stretch of 7 games where we have 5 away, so that'll be tough. We have a late bye again. It's one of the first things I noticed, which I kind of liked last year. It was, I think once we got to that point, we appreciated it, but it was a long road getting there. But I think it's awesome to have that. And then, when we get the first round bye, we have kind of another bye just a little bit later. So it all works out. I'm super pumped that Aaron's back. It's a bummer about Devontae. I'm happy for him if this is what's best for him, but we will miss him. But we'll do great. Excited to see all the new guys. They're really pumped to be part of the squad, which is cool. And all the vets welcoming them and showing them around and stuff like that. Lots of other changes in the offseason will be interesting to see what happens. And with other injuries and you're going to see like what happens with who comes back and who starts right away and who kind of waits it out a little bit. Matt looks great. He looks like he got tan and buff in the off season. What else do I have to say? I don't know. It just feels like just very recently that I was mourning for like 2.5 weeks in February and, late January, February. And now we're back and it's another season, another opportunity. It's our year, our time to shine. Green and gold time, dead and cool, baby. Go, Pack, go!
Awesome, Megan. Thank you. Always great to hear from you. She's thinking about going to the London game too. Man, how cool would it be to meet up with a bunch of listeners in London? Now I'm really thinking about it, man. I'm really thinking about it.
It would be so cool. But can you imagine after the decades of pent-up demand for tickets, because this is the Packers' first ever game overseas, and there's people all over Europe that want to go to this game, that the amount of tickets available even on the secondary market for people from the U.S. to get tickets is going to be pretty slim and or expensive, but it would be so amazing. So amazing. But there's going to be they're going to show how to do tailgating the right way now that Packers fans are going to be over there as well. It's just going to be amazing.
I didn't even think about that. Tailgating. I'm not going to have a car. So tailgate with my rental car, I guess. I don't know. That'd be interesting if I did that.
There might be something in the contract,
it's in England, so do you tailgate on the other side of the vehicle, or I don't know how that works.
Call him Brett Dictus. Let us know how this works. And if you have plans for that. I like how Megan lives in Minnesota, but she can't bring herself to go to that hideous stadium. But if she did go, she could say hi to Zadarius and tell him not to hit Aaron Rodgers.
I like that as well. But Megan, seriously, check out that stadium. I know it's the Vikings, but that stadium is pretty sweet. And
it's just too
you're
purple.
Right there.
It's too purple.
It is too purple. But man, it's nice. That dome is nice. I really like it a lot. Actually, we did the full tour. I got to be in the locker room where the Packers have been, so that was pretty sweet. Highly recommend it. Also, Matt Lafleur looking tanned and buff. I did not notice.
I did not notice that either. But Megan noticed.
But I'm glad that he's keeping himself in shape and looking good. That's one thing I will say about Lafleur is he always looks like a professional on the sidelines. You know what I mean? Clean cut. Good looking guy. I like it.
He's not wearing a hoodie with the sleeves ripped off and looking like a Jedi that's gone wrong or something. But anyways, Megan, so great to hear from you again. And yeah, we're also excited to see how these new players do that we drafted a couple weeks ago and other people we may bring in between now and the beginning of the season. And of course, we had our poll in the Facebook group, which you can join at packerscommunity.com. as well as on Twitter at Packers Fan Pod. The poll question was, which game on the schedule are you currently most excited to watch? And you get bonus points, maybe some gold flaky stars, if you comment with your reasons why you voted for that game. And everybody could add their own game, but basically we started out with the November 13th Cowboys at Packers, or maybe October 9th, Giants at Packers in London. How about December 19th, Rams at Packers? September 25th, Packers at Buccaneers. And, of course, Packers at Buffalo. And then we had a write-in vote by Dictus, who put down September 11th, Packers at Vikings, opening day. We kind of talked about it before, but if you had to pick just one game that you're like, I'm not going to miss this, I'm going to see it from beginning to end in every commercial, whether it's a blowout or not, what game?
Well, I mean, that'll be the case for every game. Let's be honest.
Well, true.
I mean, I watch it every game, but the one that I'm most excited for, it seems like the easy answer, but that game in London, man. I mean, did you say it was like 8:30 a.m. Central Time.
Yes.
Is that when that game?
Yeah, 6:30 a.m. here in California.
Yeah. So that's going to be I know you're used to going out for breakfast at 10 a.m. your time for those things. You're really going to be doing breakfast super early. Because if you have to go watch the game somewhere, that's going to be an issue, isn't it?
No, this game
for
will
someplace to be.
This game will definitely be aired here. I think it might even be an NFL Network exclusive, but it is going to air here. So I'm just going to roll out of bed, pour my wheat checks, and go Pack Go.
Your wheat checks. But yeah, I mean, just the fact that it's in London and it's so early in the day, I'll actually be able to watch the game while literally eating breakfast. It's going to be a new experience, and then I've just got the rest of the day to watch everybody else. I mean, if you think about it, that game's at 8:30 in the morning. It'll probably still be going 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. Actually, it'll probably be wrapping up right as the noon game starts. Then we get the 3 o'clock game. Then we got the Sunday night game. So really, I get 4 full games of football that day.
Right. Glorious.
Kicking things off with a Packers game. So, yeah, it's hard to not top that game just because I want to watch them in London.
Mm-hmm. Kicking things off. I see what you did there. And, of course, I think, although that's the obvious answer, I mean, that is a game that I can't wait to see. Everything to do with that game, the footage of the fans in the parking lot, in the stadium, the general area around Tottenham, and they'll probably just have B-roll footage from all over England, just because, like on a quick side tangent, like on HGTV, they'll do house hunters. And they had an episode recently where somebody was house hunting for a home in Palm Springs, and they're showing B-roll footage coming out of the commercial break of people surfing, down in Newport. I'm like, do you not realize Palm Springs is nowhere near the ocean? It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, and so the votes that came in, Cowboys at Packers, when you combine the votes from Facebook and Twitter, Cowboys at Packers got 38% of the votes. And then close behind, 31%, the Giants at Packers in London. Then it's 17%. People want to see the defending Rams come to Lambeau and get a beat down. And
That's a good one, too.
Yes, 10% Packers at Buccaneers for reasons. And then 4%. The vote from Dictus for Packers at Vikings, because it is, after all, opening day. And to me, the biggest shocker was no votes at all on Twitter or Facebook for Packers at Buffalo. I think everybody must just be waiting for the true matchup of these two teams in the Super Bowl.
Either that or, everybody realized that prediction was, kind of out there, Wayne. Kind of out there.
It was not a prediction. They said it was a leak.
A leak. Okay. All right. We did get some comments on the poll. The first one does come from Dan Dyler. He says, London only because I get to meet Dictus and Colm. That's so cool. It makes you want to go even more just to go meet those guys in person. Definitely stoked to see Dallas and McCarthy come up and get their star tarnished. You all do know that's not their logo, right? It's their rating. It's 1-star rating. Janelle voted for Packers at Lions, and she will be going to it. Yay. So that's thank you very much, Janelle.
That's a reason alone, is if that's the game you're going to. Good one to vote for. Mm-hmm. Gary's most anticipated game is Tampa Bay because beating Tom Brady is always good. Aaron at the Hollywood Outsider podcast says the Cowboys game by a mile. And on Twitter, Benjamin in England voted for, wait for it, Scott, the Giants game because it'll be my first Packers game live. Benjamin.
Nice.
Hook up with these other guys. It'll be great. And Dictus in the Netherlands was inclined to go with September 11th at Vikings because that game signifies Packers football is back. And it'll be the first time our beloved green and gold will be playing a meaningful game again, kicking off another campaign to bring the Lombardi home. But it really can't just be one game, right? How about Packers, Giants, London? That is the game. Sure, the Giants haven't really been an exciting matchup in a while, but who cares? It will be a London game, which is a really easy visit for us European fans. Train, car, boat, plane. We will be there in droves. And being last isn't usually a good thing, but to be the 32nd of all the teams to play on this side of the pond and complete the series, so to speak, I don't know. It has a classy feel to it. It makes this extra special. Sure, it won't be Lambeau, but there will be plenty of Packers fans. I can already hear the Go Pack Go chants rolling in the stands. And getting to meet Dan and Colm, That'll be the cherry on top. Cheers. And don't forget Brett as well, of course. Speaking of Brett in England, the London game, because I'll be there. Go Pack, go.
Awesome. Also, Rick in Wisconsin writes in, I choose Dallas because I don't like Jerry Jones and love to see the Packers beat his team. I asked my wife for her opinion because she's the big Packers fan. She said whenever they play Chicago and Minnesota. We had some other great posts and comments made over at Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community, which you can find at packerscommunity.com as well. Mark shared his thoughts on the game schedule and said, looks like a great schedule. I see lots of wins. Can't wait for the season to start. I will say I'm not thrilled about the 3-game road trip. Also, only 4 teams have a 3-game road trip. Go Pack Go. Interesting. We are one of 3 teams that have that 3-game road trip. Anyway, again, if you'd like to join the Facebook group, be part of the conversation, let your voice be heard. We would love to hear from you.
Even though there won't be a new episode of the podcast till probably around the Hall of Fame time period, the conversations are going to be going in there, so be sure to add your own. We also got a brief email. Hello, Wayne and Scott. This is CCR from Greenway, Wisconsin. And Scott, CCR says it's a great schedule for the Packers to have. Although we are still a little skeptical about the Buccaneers. Oh, I'm skeptical. But we'll worry about that game when we get there. We can't wait for the season to start. Think the Packers will win over 10 games. But no matter what the season brings for the Packers, we can all say, go Pack go, bleed green and gold till dead and cold. Caleb, Kathy, and Roy Fisher, and everybody. Again, thank you for your calls, your emails, your comments, your support of the show. You are vital to the Packers Fan Podcast. And like Scott mentioned earlier, join the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community, be part of the conversations, and even start your own. And I don't have any other podcast things going on right now because of, we had Doctor Who, and I guess we're getting a new doctor, but we won't have a new episode till the fall. So basically what I'm up to is some voiceovers. I've been recording a couple of intros for a couple of other podcasts. And of course, if you've got your own podcast or business narration and you need a professional voiceover, you can contact me. Find me at mediavoiceovers.com. How about you, Scott?
Well, I still have my podcast, The Gaming Outsider, and we've got a new episode this past week where we answered video game-related questions from our community. It's one of my favorite episodes that we do. It's just a lot of good conversations and fun. And you'll hear me also talk more about this new game I've been playing called Rogue Legacy 2, which continues to be exactly what I wanted and more. It's going to be a serious Game of the Year contender for me. It's going to be tough to beat. But if you'd like to hear me talk about that, as well as other games that me and my buddies have been playing, please check out thegamingoutsider.com, and you can listen to the show the same place you listen to this one. We do love the value for value model over here at Packers Fan Podcast, and Patreon is the place where you can help financially support your Packers Fan Podcast and get some value of your own. You can find details for that at patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast, and it really does help us out. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Dan Dyler, also known as Captain Pack Sparrow. Go Pack Go, and big shout outs to you, sir, for your Jim Ringo level of support for the podcast. And also Jay Walters, thank you for your AR12 level patronage. Go Pack Go to you as well.
Also, Go Pack goes to our Brett Favre inspired supporters, David Simmons, Scott Boers, Miguel Ramirez from the Opposites Attract podcast, Jeff Summerfield, Andre in LA, and Colin Nolan from Ireland, who's already getting ready to go to the game. I can't believe it. Lucky. Have a great time. And supporting the old PFP at the Curly Lambeau level, Go Pack goes, and thank yous to Beth Mintick, Matt Haig, Joe Christensen, and Hank Davis from the TPE network of podcasts. Thanks again for all your support. If you too are interested in becoming a patron of the Packers Fan Podcast, check out the details at PackersFanPodcast.com. Just look for the Support Us button on the right-hand side of the site.
As a reminder, we are the unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, not yet affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers. Please follow the Packers Fan Podcast where you listen to your shows. And also, please tell a friend. We do appreciate it very much.
And follow us on Twitter at Packers Fan Pod. Scott, you are still at GoCastScott, correct?
Yes, sir.
Good. Me, I'm at Wayne Henderson, and Patreon supporter Dan Dyler. Pack Sparrow, are you there, Captain?
Hey, Packers Fan Podcast listeners, this is your cheesehead from Indianapolis, Dan, and I have just two words for you. Go, 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 Pack.